Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala Rasulillah. We're continuing the class, the concise presentation of Fiqh. Today's episode 64, Marriage, part 13. It's the 22nd of Jumaadaa Al-Aakhirah, 1445 after the Hijrah, Wednesday the 3rd of January 2024. Those who are following us in the book, we are on page 448, and today the section is on the waiting period, the iddah.
Correct.
Firstly, its definition. The Arabic word for the iddah comes from a word meaning to reckon or count. In other words, it refers to days and period that the women reckon and count. As a legal term, it refers to the period of time that the woman must refrain from marriage after the death of her husband or after separation from her husband. It is reckoned by giving birth, menses, or months.
Right. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. So the iddah is time. And this is something that the woman, she must do upon the following. That is a divorce, whether there is divorce is irrevocable or irrevocable. And we've studied that. And whether this as well, after, this is the first one, divorce. Second one, after khul' or after li'an, or after even a marriage which is not conducted in the right manner. There has to be iddah. This iddah is determined by one of the following things. He says birth or number of menses that she will menstruate or number of months. So again, I'll explain. So this iddah is time that the woman, she has to basically wait. She cannot marry somebody else unless you want to marry her husband, something else. Whether this iddah after irrevocable divorce. Irrevocable divorce. Can you give me an example of irrevocable divorce? Irrevocable divorce. Give me an example of that. Which divorce? Like what? After well done after the third divorce. And another one? After khul'. Well done. So it comes to the classes, mashallah. After khul'. So khul' we have as well. It's irreversible. Because once khul' takes place, we said that she's totally stranger. She's not his wife. But she has to have this iddah. So this iddah is for her to stay until she can marry somebody else. So this iddah, she has to wait it in order if she wants to marry somebody else. But the whole thing is that this iddah, if it's irreversible or revocable, this as well is like a cooling off period for the husband to think. If he wants, she's still his wife. But this is before the divorce comes to the being determined now, which is at the end of the iddah. So within all, so this iddah basically for cooling off period reasons of also to make sure that the womb is not being impregnated. The woman, she's not being pregnant because she wants to marry somebody else. We're not allowed to irrigate the land that doesn't belong to others. If you remember, we talked about the war of Awtas. The Prophet ﷺ, he saw the men from the Sahaba taking the concubine, remember? And this concubine was not being given that period to make sure that she's what? Not pregnant. So this concubine is not marriage. So he said to them not to intercourse with them until they gave them istibra' haida. This is one haida, one menses, and then she could touch her, because he said to them, it's not allowed for you to irrigate the land or to plow the land which doesn't belong to you. The land here means the womb of the mother, the womb of the woman. And this land, if it was being touched by another husband, so this doesn't belong to the new one. So until we make sure that it's empty, then this person can plant in that land. So we can have a number of types of iddah, and we're going to give the times and the periods, which is much, much more than the book that you have, because the book, as I said, is concise. So we're going to have number of iddahs. And as I said, whether this marriage is conducted in a proper manner or not. Let's say that it was nikah shigar. Okay, remember nikah shigar? What, give me your daughter, I'll give you my daughter. Okay, so that's nikah shigar is one of the, or nikah tahleel. she's been divorced 3 times, she wants to go back to her husband, they make a deal with a new husband, even that marriage, it has to have a iddah. So let's talk about the types of it. Types of iddah.
The first is the widow whose husband has just died, is to enter a waiting period of 4 months and 10 days, regardless of whether the marriage has been consummated.
Or not.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
والذين يتوفون منكم ويذرون أزواجا يتربصن بأنفسهن 4 أشهر وعشرا.
and those of you who die and leave wives behind them, they, the wives, shall wait as regards their marriage for 4 months and 10 days. Surah Baqarah, verse 2, 3, 4.
Right. So this woman, whom she's married to her husband, before consummation or after consummation, as soon as the marriage contract has been taken place, then this woman, if her husband dies, she must have a iddah. Do you know why we said whether the intercourse took place or not? Because if it was a divorce, as we're going to see later on, and the marriage was not consummated, there is no iddah. Straight away, she is a stranger. If he did not consummate intercourse with the wife. So that, but to do with the husband death, that's different scenarios, not like the divorce. Because these 4 months and 10 days is not just a cooling, it's not cooling off period, because they're not going to go back to each other. And it's not just actually for the womb to be empty, but also as a respect for the husband. Because 4 months and 10 days. So here, 4 months and 10 days is upon any woman who made a contract marriage with a husband, even if she was in the east and her husband is in the west, and they made the marriage through wakala, deputizing somebody else, or through online. They haven't come to meet each other, but the marriage was conducted, the dowry has been paid, or has been promised, and there was 2 witnesses, and the wali approval is there. The marriage is done. So if he dies, and he didn't even see her yet, actual physical, okay, she still has to make this iddah of hers, which is 4 months and 10 days, except, so this is the first one, except
the woman that was pregnant. Then a waiting period is until the time she gives birth.
So until the first one, if she's not pregnant, somebody is married to somebody, she's not pregnant, her iddah is 4 months and 10 days, regardless whether the marriage is consummated or not. Now the second type is that she was pregnant. She's pregnant, then the period or the iddah is not the 4 months and 10 days, but until she delivers a baby. Now, regardless whether her husband died at the beginning of the pregnancy, she will wait for maybe 9 months, or at the end of the pregnancy, like what happened to Sabi'a al-Aslamiyya. Let's just hear her story. Al-Miswar al-Mudakhrama, he says,
narrated that Sabi'a al-Aslamiyya radiallahu anha gave birth one night after her husband's death. She went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and asked him for permission to wed. He gave her the permission, and so she wedded.
Right. It's only about 2 nights, some of the hadith they say, that this Sabi'a al-Aslami, her husband, died just in the last 2 days before she delivered her baby. So when she had delivered the baby, she started beautifying herself straight away to the newcomer, straight away. As soon as one of the companions called Abu Sanabil, Ibn Ba'kak, he's one of the men of Banu Abd, he saw her, he said, "Oh, I could see that you want to get married. And your husband died about 2 nights ago. You can't do this. For validity, you have to wait until the longer of the 2. The longer of the 2 means, which period is longer? If it's the pregnancy, then you wait until the pregnancy is finished. You drop and you deliver your baby. And if it is the 4 months and then 10 days longer than the pregnancy, then you have to do the 4 months and 10 days. You can't do it to the shortest of the 2. I could see that coming out. She was really sort of felt that this is strange. So she went to the Prophet ﷺ, asking him about that. He said, "Kadhaba Abu Salam." He's not correct. He had made a mistake. Here, kadhaba means made a mistake. Mistaken. What is he talking about? No, it's not correct. Well, you finish your iddah and you're allowed now to see anybody and husband. And here she could marry even if there's a blood. It's called, what do they call the blood? We called it? Nafas, yeah? Postnatal, postpartum, or as well post-childbirth bleeding. Remember that? Even if she's in the blood, she could marry. But the husband cannot approach her into cause-wise, okay, if she's until the blood is finished. But he could do whatever he likes as long as he does not what? Make the intercourse, the actual intercourse. But she's still his wife. So she could marry even if she is in the time of the blood, okay, of this pregnancy. Because the post-childbirth bleeding sometimes stays for 40 days. It's a long time. So we're going to can't deprive her from marriage within that time. So this is where Ulat al-Ahmad. Now, when the baby is delivered, doesn't matter the delivered baby, whether he is alive or dead, whether he is full creature or half a creature, whether the baby came with normal delivery or cesarean, or with abortion. So let's say she had an abortion. So this is pregnant, her husband died, and she decided to terminate the baby, whether it's haram or halal. He delivered the baby. Halal, for example, the doctor, they said to her that this baby, if it's going to be delivered, you're going to die. It's going to affect your life. Then we'll take the life of the one which we don't know about his life is going to be yes or no to the one, which is we have a life, which is the mother. And we have the child who's maybe alive is going to come out or not. We don't know. So if it is to be the sacrificial now, we sacrifice the what? The one we have no surety. We're not sure they're going to be alive. In order to save the what? The mother. In this case, abortion is halal. It's not because the baby, he looks like in the TV screen, is mentally disordered or something like that. No, it's not allowed. And a haram way, which is, I don't want a baby. So she had abortion. Okay, she sinned, but she's now at the moment finished her iddah. So as long as the baby came out, alive or not alive, full creature or not full creature, half, even type of blood came out, she was pregnant, and she dropped it because she dropped down on the floor and the baby came out, she is now ready for marriage. Right, now we come in, I'm saying it could be haram as well, that this woman, that she doesn't want to have this baby for the husband who died, so she does something, to kill the baby, so the baby can't come out. Okay, she's still ready for marriage straight away, but she's haram because she killed a human being. Right, so we know now what is the issue regarding a woman whom her husband died and she was pregnant. Now we come into number 3. Further.
The one who's divorced before consummation has no waiting period.
So the one who's been divorced. Can I just ask the brothers to fill up the gaps? This one, just come forward. Here, like Zubair. MashaAllah, Zubair. Like Zubair. Jazakumullah khair. This is the way to teach. The other ones will learn from you, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. So the one who's been divorced before consummation, that means before intercourse, no iddah, because she's got nothing. Some scholars are different because if they're on their own, we don't know. No, but if they didn't touch each other, there is no iddah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نكحتم المؤمنات ثم طلقتموهن من قبل أن تمسوهن فما لكم عليهن من عدة تعتدونها. Meaning,
are you who believe when you marry believing women and then divorce them before you have sexual intercourse with them, no waiting period have you to account in respect of them?
No period of time to be accounted in respect of them. Right, this is now coming to number 4.
The divorced woman after consummation and pregnancy will, the divorced woman after consummation and pregnant will be in her waiting period until the time she gives birth.
Right. وَأُولَاتُ الْأَحْمَالِ أَجَلُهُنَّ أَن يَضَعْنَ حَمْلَهُنَّ.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and for those who are pregnant, whether they're divorced or their husbands have passed away, their waiting period is until they deliver.
So we said the one who had her husband died, if she's pregnant, she still had to wait until her pregnancy is delivered. The same thing if she's been divorced. It's number 4 about the divorced. So once she is divorced and after consummation, not before consummation, we said there is no iddah. But after consummation, if she's to be pregnant, then her iddah until she delivers the baby. Zubair ibn Awam?
Zubair ibn al-Awwam who narrated that he was married to Kulthum bint Uqbah. She said to him, please me by divorce.
Please me by a divorce.
So he divorced her once. He went to the prayer and returned to find that she had given birth. He said, what is wrong with her deceiving me? May Allah then deceive her. Then he went to the Messenger of Allah. So he said, its term for the waiting period has come to an end. She is in charge of herself.
Now you want to marry her, you have to go and propose. What happened? This lady was married to her husband. Maybe she wants to get rid of him in a way that is not going to be possible for him to go back to her. She doesn't want to give him a chance. So she's about to deliver the baby. She felt it. The baby is going to deliver be soon. So he's kept nagging on his head. Man, please me with a divorce. He said, okay, you divorced. Because he knows if he divorced her, he still have what? The cooling off period. He went to the prayer, came back, she delivered the baby. That means what? She's a stranger. Right. There's something here, before I continue the hadith. Is this considered khula'? You remember the divorce on the request of the wife, it becomes what? Khula'. Is this khula' or not? Yeah. No, why? No, she asked him. This is khula'.
There was no payment set.
Well done. There's no compensation. Has to be iwad. Even if that iwad, it was not accepted by the I don't want it. Whatever money you're going to give me, I don't want it. But as long as we negotiated. So she didn't say he didn't say to her, okay, I'm not going to divorce you until we have to have some sort of compensation here. He didn't say that. He just said, okay, you want to divorce, I'll please you with a divorce. Go ahead. Because you keep nagging, divorce. So he accepted to give the divorce, not because he's been compelled to give the divorce, and then there's the iwad. So he gave her this divorce, and he went to the prayer, came back, she's delivered the baby. He went to the Prophet, and he said, khada'atni khada'aha. She deceived me, may Allah deceive her. But I need to understand, is the word deceive, is it a negative word or a positive word? Or sometimes negative is positive? Because I can't use it for Allah if it is, both, it is only negative. In Arabic, khada', wallahu khadi'uhum. It can be used to Allah Azza wa Jalla, which is plotting against. But deceive here, when you deceive the enemy, is that a good or bad? It's always bad in English. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if it is always bad, I can't use it in the translation.
From your point of view, for the enemy is good, but the enemy's point of view is bad. Yeah. So it can be.
It could be good.
From your point of view.
So I would say, she deceived me. May Allah plot against her. What do you think about that? Deception is allowed? Oh, yeah, but deception, this is in English. Does it mean lying? I could deceive you by lying in English. You're talking about Arabic. Arabic is different. When you say al-harbu khud'a or khid'a. Al-harbu khud'a or khid'a means war is based upon deception. It's not allowed. No, it's allowed to lie, but it's not allowed to treachery. Treachery is not allowed. What's treachery? I give the say to the enemy, send me a messenger, and then I'm going to kill him. It's not allowed. I have to honor my word. Or I'm in war with somebody, and I say to him, put your weapon down, and I will put my weapon down. That's it. You gave your word. You can't, betray him but you could lie, like Ali ibn Abi Talib, when this man is big, he's trying to fight him. So he said to him, I didn't come here to find two people. That man looked behind. There was nobody there. He took the picture, he didn't kill him. I can come here to find two people. He looked behind, he took the picture, he killed him. So here is deception, no problem. And lying as well on that, no problem. Okay. So I would say that the word deceive is not good. I would say that I would use something else. Because that's one I like, Allah, may Allah deceive her. I felt shivering when I say this word. Yeah. So may Allah plot against her would be better. Right. Then he came to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, well, it's finished. If you want to go back to her, you have to propose. A new proposal, a new dowry, and a new witnesses, and also the approval of the wali, or so on and so forth. Okay, that's number 4. Number 5, this is the fifth one.
If a woman is one who is experiencing menses, then her waiting period is 3 menstrual cycles.
Right. So if this woman, she is on her menses, okay, then the iddah will be of this divorce 3 menses. Remember, it is not a khula'. This is a divorce. 3 menses. Allah يقول والمطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء. نعم. Translation?
Yeah. And divorced women shall wait as regards their marriage for 3 menstrual periods.
Right. So 3 menses. Before I go to number 6 and number 7 and number 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12, I've got 12 for you. Right. So this woman, she was divorced revocably. It's the first divorce. So she is now to wait how many menses? How many, sorry, menses? 3 menses, yes? 3 menses. She finished the first menses. No, she was menstruating and suddenly pregnancy came. So pregnancy came. So we say, well, it will turn from the menstruation to the what? Until he bring the baby out. Fine. She's menstruating the first menses because she's divorced. Her husband died. What is her iddah? Do you understand me now? He divorced her. The normal divorce. She has to stay 3 menses. Okay. After the first menses, her husband died. Is she going to continue 2 menses or what? Do you understand?
And she's pregnant.
Huh? No, she's not pregnant. I didn't have pregnancy here. Okay. Yes. First month is finished. Still 2 to go. Husband died.
Would you go back to the principle of the story where the Sahaba said you have to wait the longer out?
No, he's wrong. Don't take his wrong. He is.
Then the Prophet said that from the shore.
4 months, 10 days.
4 months and 10 days. Because Allah says, the one وَالَّذِينَ تَوَفَّوْنَ مِنكُمْ وَيَذَرُونَ أَزْوَاجًا, the ones who dies amongst you and they leave spouses behind them, يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ أَرْبَعَةَ أَشْهُرٍ وَعَشْرًا, has to be 4 months and 10 days. We'll skip the menses now. We'll go to the death iddah. We'll go to the death iddah. Right. So let's now go to the following one, which is number 5. Continue, please. On the Quran.
The word quru in the first
The verse means haida, menses, because of Hadith Aisha.
Aisha radiallahu anha had said from Habiba radiallahu anha had a prolonged flow of blood, and the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told her to leave the prayers during the days of her menses.
What's that? Like an aeroplane. Right, number 6 now.
If she's a young woman who does not yet menstruate or an older woman who no longer menstruates, the waiting period is 3 months.
So now we come from the iddah from menses to what? Months. 3 months from the word that he says divorce. Why? Because she's still young, she does not menstruate, or she's too old, her menstruation stops. So we know that she does not menstruate. In such a case, it will be 3 months. Question. This girl, she's young. She's been divorced. She had the first month had passed. She does not menstruate. After the first month had passed, she started menstruating. What's her iddah? Do you understand what I'm saying? She's young. She does not menstruate. And suddenly, after the first menses, so after the first month, menses started. What she should do now? Fadal? 3 what? What 3 what? Because I want to know. We said, so still 3 months.
Same principle.
No, don't link this to this. I want to give you the answer, because if you link this, they're going to be. So this woman, she is a girl. She's young. Her husband divorced her. She doesn't menstruate. We said 3 months. After the first month had passed, I'll tell you what, after the 2 months had passed, not 1 month, 2 months had passed, she started menstruating. How much is her iddah?
She needs another 2.
3 what? 3 months. She's
Another one period, another 2 periods.
have to forget about the months now. Even if she's waited for 2 months, she has to start now and doing 3 menses after the 2 months.
She had the
So she
period.
have to.
She had 1, another 2.
No. The months has gone. It's cancelled. You understand me?
She had the first period now.
She didn't have her period.
You
Doctor,
said-
please, I didn't say that. I said first month. No. She's young. She does not menstruate. First month passed. Second month had passed, and she started menstruating. I think you didn't have food.
Yeah.
So the third
Yeah.
now she started menstruating. She had to 3 menses. She start new 3 menses.
No, that's what I said. So you said she started.
Doctor,
a
I think
menses.
he's not, he does not
She-
follow
You
it.
said she started a menses.
Forget what I said. Forget what I said. I think that the people are looking at you and saying, well, maybe the doctors. I said, this girl, she's a new girl. She does not menstruate. How can she start her menses? And 2 months after the divorce had passed, 1 month left, she started menstruating. Will stay 3 menses after that. So the 2 months are what? Cancelled. Everybody's following me with that?
Fine.
Exactly.
So 3 more menses.
Yes.
Fine. That's where we.
Stop.
That's where I understand that.
Exactly.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.
Yeah. Continue, inshallah, after the prayer.
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam, ala Rasulillah. Brothers, those of you who just joined, we're on the chapter on the waiting period, the iddah, and we're just going through the different examples.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. We finished now the number 6, iddah, which is if she's a young girl, she does not menstruate, or she was too old, does not menstruate. So we know that the menstruation stopped for this reason, then her iddah is 3 months. And we said that if these months had started, and then the hayd, the menses started, we'd cancel the months and we start doing the menses, because the menses is the origin, is the default. Allah Azza wa Jal, He had made these months as a swap for the menses. So the first one is the menses. If there's no menses, we go to the months. Type. I said a question before, and I want to continue with another question. Now, this woman, if she had no menses and she started her iddah with the months, because she's young, let's say, after the 3 months, listen to me, please. After the 3 months had finished, then she started to menstruate. Is there anything she needs to do? After the 3 months, because she was not menstruating, 3 months had finished. So now the menses started. Does she need to do anything? So just put your finger up and just hear. Yes, what? Zubair, fadal. Huh?
It's strange enough.
Strange?
Husband and wife, it's strange enough.
Khalas, accept. Well done. It's correct. So if the 3 months had finished, we now keep a closed eye, or we ignore the menses because the months had finished. But if this menses started within the month hasn't finished, then we have to start to recount by the menses, not with the months. But after the month is finished, we don't really look at this with consideration. Well done. Right. Now we're coming to number 7, which is you haven't got it. This is the iddah of a woman whom she was from the women who menstruate, but her menses stopped. She's not the young girl, she's not the old, she menstruates, and her menses stopped. She can't see the menses. And she doesn't know what is the reason for the menses to be stopped. This is a common issue between the women. What is her iddah? Because we can't say 3 months, ya Khwani, because the 3 months only for the one who does not menstruate. But this woman, she experiences menses. Suddenly, when she was divorced, the menses stopped. There is no reason for it to stop. She's not breastfeeding. What's happening here? So her iddah, according to Umar al-Khattab, and this is what he had judged amongst the companions, is 1 year. Why is it 1 year? There's a reason. 9 months for the pregnancy, and then after the 9 months, the 3 months, which is for the woman who does not menstruate. 9 plus 3 makes it 12. So 12 months according to the scholars, Imam Shafi'i, one of them as well. Number 8. Now, if she knew the menses stopped for a reason, this woman, she menstruates, but her menses stopped and she knows the reason. Maybe because she's ill. Maybe because this woman, she is breastfeeding. You know, while you're breastfeeding, the menses stops, isn't it, doctor? Normally, yes. So she's breastfeeding. So she knows that the menses stopped for a reason. She knows the reason. In this case, her iddah until she waits until she starts to menstruate back. She could take tablets to bring the menses out, no problem. Let's say she's ill, but there's tablets, I think they are, you know, I think there's tablets that would encourage the menses to come out, isn't it? Yes, there is. She could have it, no problem. In order to, you know, not to prolong her iddah, because her iddah could be 2 years now. If she's going to wait until the breastfeeding for 2 years, it's a long wait. You divorced her after she delivered the baby, and she's breastfeeding now. Her menses will not come out until maybe the breastfeeding. She could do the following. She could have the medicine, she could stop the breastfeeding and give the child an alternative. And unless, so in order for her to menstruate, in order to finish her iddah, because as I said, it could be for 2 years. So in such a case, she has to wait until her menses, and this is with the consensus of all scholars. There's no difference among the scholars regarding this issue. Number 9, if she was a woman who's in her istihada. What is istihada? Prolonged period. It's not a period. She's blood running. Okay, then she has to somehow make, okay, that menstruation according to what we have taught you. So this woman, she would look when she was menstruating. She was menstruating during this particular days during the month. So she would take them as her menses days and count 3 menses. If she, for example, knows the color, so she doesn't know when it's, but the color of the menses is different from the normal blood discharge. So she would consider those where there's a color change, that's her menses. And if she forgot how many days is her menses, or she forgot when was it the menses, then she will go to the customary period. She will choose a period of time within the month, and she will give it the customary period, which is 7 days. 6 to 7 days. She will make these 7 days of menses, and she will count 3 menses. And that is the iddah of the mustahada. Number 10. Now, if she knew that she does not menstruate because of her womb being taken out, yes, the woman taken out, then her iddah is exactly the same as the one who does not menstruate, 3 months. Her womb is not there. It does not menstruate forever. That's 3 months. Number 11, the one who is having khula. Can anybody tell me what is the iddah? Because we discussed this. What's the iddah for the woman who's been having khula? Remember, she asked her husband for divorce, and then he said, okay, how much are you going to compensate me? Whatever, how much money within the, and he accepted, he gave her the divorce called khula. No iddah? Huh? Okay, she could marry somebody else straight away after the one cycle. 1 menses. If she doesn't menstruate, is 1 month. Okay? 1 menses to make sure that what? Her womb is what? Is empty. Question. We said before, if this woman, she was in a revocable iddah, her husband died, then she does not count the menses, she's going to be 4 months and 10 days. This woman, she's been having khula. Within the 1 cycle or the 1 month, her husband died. What is the iddah of hers? Do you understand what I said?
4 months.
4 months and 10 days. Is that what he says? Is she his wife anymore?
No.
No. She's not his wife anymore. It's khula. Khula sees the contract, ya ikhwani. Do you understand me? If he dies or she dies, they don't inherit one another. It's khula. It's not cooling off period. She asked for a divorce, and he said, okay, how much are you going to compensate? Within the, we said, the dowry. It could be more than the dowry if he had spent a lot of money into the wedding party, for example, thousands of pounds. So she'll give you 10,000, divorce me. That's called khula. That khula seizes the marriage relationship straight away. If one of them dies, he does not inherit one another. So still, the iddah is 1 cycle or 1 month if she doesn't menstruate. In contrast to the revocable, reversible divorce, where he divorces himself, then she is still his wife. She's not allowed to leave the house. He stays there. So if he dies, she inherits him. If he dies, if she dies, he inherits her. If she dies, she inherits him. And that's why if he dies, it's going to be 4 months, 10 days. Forget about the menses. Understood that? So the khula is not, it's called ba'in. Remember the ba'in? Ba'in is clear. It's not revocable. It's irreversible. Irrevocable. Okay, coming now to number 12. The one who's got mula'ana. You remember the mula'ana? Okay, mula'ana, what does it mean? Al-li'an. A man accused his wife of fornication. If it wasn't the husband, then this person, in order not to be lashed 80 lashes, which is for defamation, he has to bring along with him how many witnesses? 3. So they become what? 4. He has to be bringing 4 witnesses. What? To see the hugging, kissing? No. To see the mirwat fil mikhala, meaning the private part into the private part, which is almost impossible. To see that in order to implement the death penalty, is stoning to death. That's the penalty. So the 4 witnesses has to see the actual fornication. Clear, and that's very hard. Not even video cameras. It's not allowed because you could Photoshop these days. You know that the Photoshop, I could make you speak in whatever language. They have translated some of my lectures, and I couldn't believe this is my voice. It's me. I'm thinking this is my voice. I'm speaking German. I'm speaking Russian. I'm speaking Turkish. I'm speaking Spanish. I'll show you. And I was so shocked. It's a new program now. I could turn my lecture while I'm speaking different level, and it's my voice. So algorithm-wise, they take whatever they want, and they could make you speak the thing that you didn't speak. The same thing they could do with a picture as well. It has to be people, and they saw it with their own eyes. Except for the husband. Husband, Allah gave him an exception, which is to make li'an. You accuse your wife of fornication, then in order not for you to be lashed, you have to make 4 testimonies before the judge that she had fornicated 4 times. And then after the 4 times, the judge will say to you, the 5th one will entail the punishment now. And then you have to say, the curse of Allah upon me if I'm a liar. This is called mula'ana. The curse, la'an, cursing. The curse of Allah, the la'an of Allah is upon me if I'm a liar. Now, she is going to be stoned to death unless she wants to protect herself by making 4 testimonies to encounter the testimonies of her husband. She would say, by Allah, I didn't do it, by Allah, I didn't do it, by Allah, I didn't do it, by Allah. And the 5th one is the one who will make this li'an take place. She said, and the wrath of Allah upon me if I'm a liar. Straight away, this divorce will take place, not divorce, I say, nullification of the marriage, and they will never be able to go back to each other. There's no way. It's not like even 3 divorces. No. If you married even 100 husbands, you can't go back. It's called li'an, separation. That li'an has a iddah for her in order to marry somebody else. Can anybody, according to what he had learned, what's that iddah? Is it 3 menses or is it 1 menses? 1. Because not cooling off period for her to get married somebody else. 1. Because like khul'a sees the contract. Well done. So we thought now, alhamdulillah, we discussed 12 cases of iddah. And that's amazing. Right. Going now to the following topic. What is incumbent upon the person whom her husband died?
What's obligatory upon the widow during the iddah? The widow must enter a period of mourning until her iddah period comes to an end.
What is the period of mourning? We have to understand. Go on.
Mourning consists of not beautifying oneself, wearing perfume, wearing jewelry, wearing colored clothing, applying makeup, or applying clothing.
This is the way that the woman should be in the mourning situation. Now,
Atiyah said, we were forbidden to mourn for more than 3 days for a dead person, except in the case of one's husband, for whom we were to mourn for 4 months and 10 days. While mourning, we were not permitted to darken the rim of our eyelids with kohl, apply perfume, or put any dyed garments except one made of asad, a rough Yemeni cloth. However, at the time of purification, when any of us performed ghusl after her menstruation, it was permissible for us to perfume ourselves with an incense from a little fragment of costus. In addition, we were forbidden to follow the funeral procession.
Okay, following the funeral procession, whether she is in her iddah or not, is not allowed for the, sorry, it is allowed, but with dislike. You're not supposed to follow the funeral. But imagine her husband, imagine her father, imagine her son. We're not going to tell her off if she follows, but she has to follow in the right manner, not to mix with the men. So the women whom in their iddah because of their husband, they've died, they must mourn. Not like if somebody other than her husband, they died. So if her father died, she doesn't have to mourn. She could just following day dress up in the way that she wishes with her husband. It's only the husband, it's a must. From Allah Azza wa Jalla, she has to mourn. Hidat, we call it. As for others, like Sulaym, her son died, which is as kunya as Abu Umayr, had died. And what she did, she wrapped him and she washed him and everything. She prepared him and she said, nobody tells my husband about him. Because he used to love him. Abu Talha al-Ansari, radiallahu anhu. He came in and he was ill for the last days. He always crying. So she asked her, why was my son? As soon as he came in, she said, well, he never been quieter than today. Which is true. He didn't lie. He's never been quieter than today because he died. You know, there's no noise anyway. So he thought, what? MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, your heritage. So she beautified herself. Imagine she steps on her feet. Her son died in order to satisfy whom? Husband. She beautified. Well, tell me which woman she will do this. Beautified herself and put perfume on herself and everything. And she made her husband to be, you know, nice. She wants it. And she made the intercourse with him. After he finished, and he's ready now to go for the Fajr prayer, she said to him, I'm going to tell you something. If people borrow from other people something, and then those people whom they had this borrow being, you know, taken away from them, are they allowed to ask for their borrow back? I gave you this book for borrow, and I want to ask for my book back. Have I got the right to do this? Have you got the right to keep, you know, to be upset? He said, no, I've got the right to be upset. You've got the right to take, you know, back the borrow. So Allah gave you your son as a borrow. And he took him back. I mean, you're not supposed to jump up and down crying. And Allah has got the right to take his borrow. So he said, you led me to do what I did, which is the intercourse. And you're telling me about the death of my son? He went to the Prophet ﷺ, and he tells him about what happened. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet of Allah revelation. So he says to him, لَقَدْ بَارَكَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ فِي لَكُمَا فِي لَيْلَتِكُمَا. Allah blessed you both in this night of yours. This is Sulaym. From that night, she got pregnant. She gave birth to Abdullah, radiallahu anhu, was a big warrior in Islam from that moment. So she did not mourn because it's not compulsory upon her to mourn other than the husband or the other husband. The husband, it has to be 4 months and 10 days or until she delivers a baby if she's pregnant. And in those 4 months and 10 days, or until if she's pregnant, until she brings a baby, she not just not allowed to put this on, and she's also to put the black. Some of the scholars say it's compulsory, some of them say it's recommended, black dress for 3 days. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ, he said to Asma bint Umays, whom her husband was killed, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu fi ma'arakati in the Battle of Mu'tah. He said, تَسَلَّبِي ثَلَاثَةً. And he said, put the black dress for 3 days. And after the 3 days, you could put any dress you like. 3 days, black. As a sign of mourning onto the husband. Right. So alhamdulillah, we know what she should do. So now, and by the way, she's not allowed to come out of the house with this iddah. Unless it is necessity. What is necessity? Coming to the class for learning, it's not necessity. Coming to the Jumu'ah, it's not necessity. Coming to the Jama'ah, it's not necessity. To go and visit her mother is not necessity. To visit her son who is ill is not necessity. She is ill. She wants to go to the doctor. If we have the option for the doctor to come to the house, she must not go to the doctor. The doctor has to come what? To the house. She's not allowed to go out. Necessity, like she hasn't got anybody to feed her. So she needs to work. She goes to work in order to feed herself. So as soon as she finishes work, she goes back into the husband's house, unless she's being kicked out. Kicked out, for example, the house that it has a high rent, she can't afford it. Or he was married to somebody else and he had children. Those children, the house was in their name. So they kicked the stepmother from the house. Then in that case as well, so she could go and make her, she has to choose a house, maybe her father's house or her friend's house. She has to choose a house and make the iddah. But the first priority is in her husband's house. She could afford the rent, pay the rent, and stay there for 4 months and 10 days, or be pregnant until you deliver baby. Now, Salama, she says,
Salama,
I'll give you the question now, read it straight away, inshallah. Just give me the.
Rated that the Messenger of Allah said, the widow in her iddah is not to wear garments dyed with saffron color, clothes dyed red or jewelry, nor apply henna to the hairs or apply kuhl.
Kuhl means the eyeliner. Right. And now we're coming to the mu'tadda min talaq raj'i, the one who's got making the iddah from a revocable or reversible divorce. Now,
during the iddah of a revocable divorce, the woman must remain in the home of her husband
because she's still a wife
until the waiting period comes to an end.
That's cooling off period.
She may not leave the house, and her husband is not allowed to expel her from
He's not allowed to kick her out. يا أيها النبي إذا طلقتم النساء فطلقوهن لعدتهن. Translate, please.
O Prophet, when you divorce women, divorce them at their iddah prescribed periods, and count accurately their periods, and fear Allah your Lord, and turn not out of their husbands' homes, nor shall they themselves leave, except in the case they're guilty of some illegal sexual intercourse.
Right, so she's still your wife, and you still have to spend money on her until the iddah is finished. Now, the one which is from the ban, irrevocable.
The one who's divorced 3 times is not entitled to either housing or maintenance. Fatima bin Qais narrated that the Messenger of Allah said about a thrice divorced woman, there is no housing or maintenance for her.
Except if she was pregnant. If she was pregnant, you have to spend money on the baby, which includes her. So you have to secure a house for her because it's your son or your daughter, the pregnancy. Secure a house for her, spend money on her and on the baby because she's looking after the baby. It's in the womb, and as long as she's breastfeeding, you have to spend money on that baby unless she's pregnant. Now, this tells me something which I haven't really spoken about, and that is what is the iddah of a woman who's been divorced 3 times. Ibn Taymiyyah, and this is the correct opinion, it's not 3 menses or 3 months. It is what? 1. Why? Because first of all, it hasn't been spoken specifically about in the Quran or the Sunnah. Number 2, it is looking like this khula, because it's not cooling off period. The 3 months and the 3 menses were made for what? For a cooling off. So the husband see her for 3 months. He could see her all the time there. They go back to each other. That's why it's cooling off period, 3 menses or 3 months. But once it is irrevocable, irreversible, that is, if it's a khula, or it is 3 divorces, you're not allowed to go back to him. It is 1 menses, 1 if she's menstruating, or 1 month. That's for the one who's been divorced 3 times. Right. So he says as well here that this woman,
she must go to a household residence, and she's not allowed to go out from there except to meet her needs. Jabir ibn Abdullah who said, my aunt was divorced. She wanted to go and gather the fruits of her date palms, but a man prevented her from going out. So she came to the Prophet and informed him of that. He said, certainly go and gather the fruits of your date palms, for you may give them charity or do a good deed.
Meaning that this woman, she had nobody to support her except for herself. So she was divorced 3 times. She's not supposed to come out of the iddah anyway, even though she's not allowed to go married to somebody else. But to marry to her husband again, unless she marries a new husband. she's supposed to stay in the house unless she needs to go for her, living. She can't bring, provision for herself. So she has to go, and that's why the woman, she was harvesting her palm trees. Al-istibra. This will be left, inshallah, for next time. Al-istibra, and the custody of the child will be left, inshallah, for next week. If you have any questions regarding what you heard, regarding the divorce, regarding the marriage, regarding anything to do with this chapter, please don't hesitate to ask. Let's try the question. Further. So if the woman, she's divorced 3 times, her iddah is to be in the house of her family, not the house of her, because her husband is not obliged, unless she's pregnant. Remember, it's not she's pregnant. He's not obliged to give her any money, or to support her, or to give her livelihood, or to give her salary while she is in that, in that period. This period is just make sure that she's going to marry somebody else, to make her womb is clear from any babies. That's all. So there is no nafaqah, and there is no nafaqah means expenditure, and there is no as well shelter to be provided by the husband, because he's not her husband at all. And this took place at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, which is the wife of Thabit bin Qais, when she was divorced 3 times. So she asked for some giving and some things. So her husband sent with a messenger to her some, like little barley. She said, what is this I'm going to do with it? She didn't like it. So he said to her, verily, you have no obligation upon me to provide you with anything. I'm giving you this as a gift. So she went to the Prophet ﷺ, and he had emphasized what the husband had done. لَيْسَ لَهَا نَفَقَةٌ وَلَيْسَ لَهَا سَكَنٌ. No expenditure on the husband, nor he is to provide her with a shelter. So she has to make the iddah in the house of her family. She hasn't got a family, any house. Any house. I mean, she's not supposed to go until she's ready. Now, Jazakallah khair for that question.
So a pregnant woman was
Pregnant women? Yeah. Yeah.
Does she stay at the husband's home the whole 9 months?
Which divorce we talking about? Khul'? Okay, so you're talking about the revocable, which is raj'i. So she has to stay in the house, yes.
Right.
Well, for the baby until he's delivered, of course. Yes, it's his wife. 9 months, yes. What's wrong with that? And after the 9 months that the divorce is being now finalized, but she still had the nafaqah expenditure because of the pregnancy. He has to provide the house and the shelter. That's what he under provision. So to feed her, let's say that the baby is only about £5 a month. No, my brother, no. The baby 5 months plus £5 plus the expenditure for hers. You have to spend on her as well. She's looking after the baby. Imagine that you took the baby and you bought a babysitter for her. How much? Thousands of pounds, isn't it? Thousands of pounds to look after a baby like that, to mother that baby. And you're not going to find anybody who's better for the baby except for his mother. So you provide the mother with the food and everything and pay the rent for her as well. Okay, you could, if she wants to help with the rent, no problem, but you have to provide everything until the baby is, not breastfeeding, is independent. Now, problem.
In this situation with the pregnant lady, so let's say the man divorces her, and 2 or 3 months have passed, she's still in the home, but they are divorced now because the cooling off period is passed. Do they have to stay separate in the home, in separate rooms,
Right.
and they can't be together?
Yeah, when the woman, she's pregnant and the man divorces her, we said her iddah until she delivers the baby. When she delivers the baby, is the divorce is being finalized. When the divorce is being finalized, this has nothing to do with spending money and giving the shelter. Now, the shelter has to be in a way that the husband cannot be with his wife, or ex-wife should be now, on their own. So let's say the house can have 2 entrances, but it can't be having both. He could enter in the door and he could have access to her. No, this is going to be fornication, literally, because they know each other anyway. One word and that's it, finished. But to be separate entrance or a separate household. Usually the case, she will move to her family or move to another place, but you have to provide. You have to provide. Now, she's not his wife anymore.
And the second question is, there's some medical conditions where the woman has a period 2 or 3 times a year. There's one called polycystic ovary.
Yeah.
Where she may not have one for 2 months, and then the next one may be 6 months, and the next one may be 3 months. It's all
So-
over the place.
Yeah.
What do you do in that?
So a woman, she has a cycle which is messed up due to reason, whatever the reason. Let's say that she was on the pill and suddenly she stopped the pill or she started the pill. Her cycle will be messed up, and we know that for a fact. We say to her to have the counting of the menses during the days that if she had a menses before. So if she had a menses before, which is a regular one, so she would count on that regular one and disregard its messing up of this menses. That's why we tell the women, do not take the pill if you want to go to Hajj or Umrah in order to postpone your menses. Once you do that, menses will start, well, go up and down. I know that women, when they take something to delay their menses, the menses after that, they become messed up, subhanAllah. Just make it natural. Just stay natural. If you are menses, stay until you are clean and then you continue your Umrah. Now, طيب يلا شمام. There's a person who's called Shammam. I'll come to you inshallah. تفضل يا شمام. يلا يا شمام. Yeah, oh, sorry. Shammam, I am really sorry. It's me. I don't have a co-host as well. Where is it? Ahmed here. Okay, Ahmed, you got hands up. تفضل يا شمام. Now you could release yourself.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykhana.
Salam.
Ahsanu alaikum. My question is, if a man divorces his wife for the first or second time and she's pregnant, does he, and let's say she has 8 months left of her pregnancy, does he have another 8 months now to take her back? Or is it only the first 3 months that he has to take her back? And the opposite as well, where
I
if she's
think one
only
of the
8 months
students will
pregnant.
ask you that question. What do you think, Azubair? Of course, until she's pregnant, until she delivers the baby. He has 8 months to return her back. She's still pulling off, she's still his wife. So if he dies within that time, or she dies, both inherit each other. Now, after that, we go to Zuhra. تفضل يا زهرة.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
You know, for kula, sometimes the husband is really bad. He doesn't provide, or he might be violent, and that's the reason why the woman goes for a kula. So does she still have to compensate him in this case?
So the man is bad to her and she's asking for the khula. Yes, if she asks for the khula, she's the one she's asking for the divorce. So if she wants to fix the situation regarding his badly mannered, there's another issue. There's other tools we said about how to fix that, to speak to somebody and all of that. Okay, but the thing is that if she asked for a divorce and he gave it to her without any compensation, that would be revocable, reversible, meaning that she still had to wait for the cooling off period. But if there is a compensation in that, then this will cease straight away. There will be no cooling off period. It will be 1 month. Okay, it will be 1 month. The compensation, one as I said, is within the dowry, unless there's extraordinary cases. Some cases, like for example, this person he spent, as I said, 40, 50K, for example, in wedding, and after spending all of that, this wife, she said, "I don't want you." Excuse me. Spend 50K. Right? Say me, you don't want me? All the 50K is gone like this, and compensation. So they will go through the company. I will not divorce you until you compensate me some of my money. Now, تفضل يا إبراهيم أبو إسماعيل.
The widow in Jeddah mentioned she cannot wear clothing, and for 3 days she's supposed to wear black. That is recommended, or some scholars say that for the other times.
Any color, as long as not the color of person who is not mourning, the normal colors, dark colors. But these colors, the women, they know that it is according to the customs, it's only for coming out and beautification. That's it, a normal color. Because the hadith, as I said, of Asma bint Umays, the wife of Ja'far, Asma bint Umays, radiallahu anha, she had 3 amazing husbands. She had Ja'far, who be killed, and after Ja'far, she married Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, and Abu Bakr died, but then she had Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu. And she gave from each one a son called Muhammad. Muhammad ibn Ja'far, Muhammad ibn Bakr, and Muhammad ibn Ali. Asma bint Umays radiallahu anhu. Now, he said to her, put tasallabi thalathan, put the black dress 3 days, And our Sheikh Al-Albani makes it hadith to be authentic. Jazakallah khair, Abu Hurairah. Faddali ya Uts. Zohra, we finished. Faisal.
Sheikh, in a li'an divorce, if the couple sincerely make tawbah to Allah, are they still disallowed from ever remarrying if they make tawbah?
There is no tawbah. Li'an, if they made this judgment from the judge and they curse one another, he said to him, my curse of Allah is upon me if I'm alive. She said, my rakab upon Allah will moment me if I'm alive. So they said this, separation forever. There's no tawbah here. No such thing called tawbah. There will be no reunion between them. As for the children, the judge will decide. It can't be just simply the husband would say, they're not my children. They will now, these days we have DNA, they will know. Can they DNA pick the father 100%, or you could have him from both? If it's two men had approached this woman, can the DNA pick one of them 100%? Yes, yeah. Well, if it is the case, if the DNA,
it's identical twins or something like this.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just saying this man who had accused his wife of fornication. So let's say that she fornicated. Can this method of science, which is DNA inspection, to determine that this one, it belongs to one of them, not? No. Just let's say he thinks he did not intercourse with her. He intercourse with her a long time ago or something, or whatever. I'm just saying that one of the semens had touched her zygote, isn't it? Okay, one of them. But can this determine which one of them? I know it can be two, but which one of them? 100% of the DNA. That's the whole thing. If it is, because at the time of the Prophet, the judge will make, which we call it al-qiyafa. This is what they look at the similarity. Like when the Prophet ﷺ, he had Zayd ibn Haritha, he had given birth to Usama. Zayd is blonde, Usama is black. They accused Zayd that he's messing about. He's not his son. This is like fornication. So one day, this person who is expert into the knowing the complexions, he passed by their feet, never mind their faces. Just he saw the little feet and the big feet, and they were both covered in the quilt. And he said, verily, those little ones are from those big ones. And the Prophet was so happy with that. It's a DNA. Yeah. These 100% are from this big one. He didn't even see the faces. He just saw the foot. SubhanAllah. And those people are expert in complexions. Right. I think I finished. Ahmad Sharif, you should have shown me yourself from before. I could give you being a co-host now. Right. Fadal Zubair.
In that period of revocable divorce, the woman is still living in the same house as the man.
So in a idda of a revocable divorce,
The woman still living in the house with the man.
yes, she has to live in the same house.
That house.
No, she does not. She's his wife. She does not observe hijab, ya Khwani. She's still his wife. As I said, she's still. If he has to die, she has to turn into the 4 months and 10 days.
but the pregnancy is.
And actually, she should not just put the hijab. She should beautify herself if she wants it back. To put as much as perfume. And maybe you look at her, he changes his mind, he goes back to her. That's the best. Just calling off period. If you're going to put the hijab on, he'll be so. I don't want her. He'll be more stubborn. Allah al-Musta'an. طيب, yalla Ahmed, you want a question?
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykh al-Kareem. There's a question from one of the brothers in the University of Medina. He wants to know on the ruling of entering the bathroom with Arabic writing. And just to clarify, it's not Arabic like a small Arabic text on a thobe or abaya, but these days the youth, they have t-shirts and hats and hoodies with big Arabic writing on it. And is Arabic from the symbols of Allah, sha'air?
Okay, so you're having an Arabic, something which can be read. If it's Arabic in your pocket, no problem. If it's a mushaf in your pocket, it's no problem. Do you understand me? The problem is to expose it, to show it. Now, the bathroom, ya Khwani, is a bathroom. Don't know what you're talking about. Is it just a toilet, just a pot? The bathroom these days, mashallah, is like some of them like a big room, a bedroom. One of them rented a hotel. What is this toilet? What is this toilet? It's got this big massive tub in the middle and then a sofa. Wallahi. Wallahi, it's got a sofa. Another chair there, rocking chair. And the toilet is in the corner. So that one, no problem too. It's everything. Could be used toilet, could be used sleeping as well. Allah musta'an. So that's the idea. We said toilet, then I would say the Arabic, ya ikhwani, is not to humiliate it as an Arabic words. But is it like the Quran itself? No. But the letters of the Arabic, like for example, if you have a mat, doormat, don't use the Arabic language to go and rub your feet onto it, because you're rubbing your feet into letters which the Quran is made of. You're not supposed to. Huh? We are online. Those words, I think the people who are listening are not going to like that. You know what I mean? True or not? Have to be careful. I got something which is true. I've got a video clip of it. In Bangladesh, in the town center, they have this habit of coming to a wall in the middle of the town. It's a habit. And then the men urinate openly, like on the wall. So it's a big wall, and they urinate on it. It's a big bad habit. It's like an open toilet in the air. So the person who is the Ministry of Endowment is Bangladeshi. He said, we tried to tell them not to do. We have made some sort of educational program. Nobody's listening. We wrote on the wall in Bangladeshi language, don't urinate here. And there's a, CCTV cameras showing they still urinate on top of those letters. But when they came up with this idea, they said, La tabul huna. They put it in Arabic. They even don't understand it. Do not urinate here. They don't understand. They show the CCTV. This man is about to urinate. Oh, astaghfirullah. So it worked. Subhanallah. That's how they respect from those who are non-Arabs the Arabic letters. Arabic means Quran. You see some people say, we want to learn Arabic. That means you want to learn what? Quran. We have an Arabic class. They have a Quran class, which is true. So I would say the Arabic should be respected. Now, I would say to this person, I wouldn't say it's a haram, but it is very disliked to go into the toilet with those things exposed. If it's been, let's say it's a she-shirt which has been hidden by a jacket, no problem. But just like this, I mean, it's not like rubbing on the doormat. The doormat, you're not allowed to do this. But this one, you don't want to humiliate yourself with these, especially if it's letters which are shown. But if it's Quran, it shouldn't be done at all. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam wa subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Barakallahu fikum. Next week, inshallah. Go ahead.